What's up?
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Why you do that before every video?
I don't know. I gotta get the jitters out.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Maury, and I'm here with my beautiful wife.
TWENTIES.
And before we even get this video started, can we give it up one time for the baby hairs? She's been turning up before I cut the camera. Get up there and show them what you got. Show them what you're working with. Alright, now that we got that out of our system, today we wanted to talk about 6 toxic mindsets that put us $160,000 in debt by the time we were at age 25. And if you've been around our channel for a little while, you're probably most familiar with the debt total of $125,000. That's the one that is out there the most. But in reality, we were actually married for 3 years before we got serious about paying off our debt. And in that 3 years, we happened to pay off $35,000 just by paying the minimum. So that $35,000 plus the $125,000 that we then paid off the following 2 years is really where the $160,000 comes from.
I just want y'all to take a second and think about that number. $160,000. And we were 25 years old, okay? So we just want to say we are not here to judge anybody. We're not throwing shade. Like, this is literally, we're just talking about our experience and what our mindsets were and how much we didn't know what the heck we were doing at that age.
Yeah, it's not to come off like we're trying to pass judgment on anybody
at
else.
All.
If you're brand new to our page, we actually did pay off, all of that debt now. We're 100% debt free. But a recent feature in the CNBC Millennial Money video has actually brought up the question a couple of times where people are like, okay, we're hearing about how you paid off the debt. Why not talk about how you got into the debt? What was your thought process behind it? And how you kind of ended up in that situation, which I thought was a great idea.
Yeah.
So shout out to all the people that were asking for that, because yeah, we never really tackled it from that perspective. So today we're going to do that for you guys. So stick around. So the first toxic mindset I would really say would be no real concept of debt repayment obligations. Now this one might not apply to the majority of you guys. Looking at our analytics and seeing the age range of the people that actually watch our videos, there's not that many 18, 20-year-old like college students watching this. But if you have a kid that's on their way to college or in college right now, might be something to really consider talking to them about. And it was basically just not understanding that this money had to be paid back. And I specifically remember sitting in the loan office at my college campus, the loan provider, the resource counselor, or whatever they call it, she was like, you only need, now after all scholarships and grants and all that is considered, you only need $7,000 to satisfy the rest of your payment for this year or this semester, but you're eligible for $12,000. And I literally thought, like, why would I take 7 when I could get 12? And I asked her, I'm like, so what happens if I sign up for the full 12? And she's like, you would get a refund check in the amount of the $5,000 or whatever dollars. In my head, it was like, that's a no-brainer. Who wouldn't take an extra $5,000?
He was over there thinking, free money.
Yeah, it's a loan and you got to pay it back. And in my head, it was like, okay, yeah, I get that, but like, I'm gonna get out of college, I'm gonna get this great job. It's gonna be nothing. It's gonna be nothing to me in the future. And to this day, I couldn't tell you where that $5,000 went. And it's not uncommon for college students to take refund checks that they really don't need to live on the money. And in reality, it just gets blown.
And for me, as far as student loans go, my thought process was you have to go into debt to go to school. And that's not at all the case. Always thought, my dad has always talked about how debt was bad, he hated it, and that's never something that you should pursue, is debt. And so I thought, I'm gonna try my hardest to get into school and get as many scholarships as I could. So I got my track scholarship, music scholarship, education scholarship, private scholarship, and all of that still didn't amount to my full tuition because I went to a private school due to my immigration status. Story for another day. But I ended up having to take out $8,000 for that semester every single year. And so I just thought, well, I mean, I tried everything else I could, so I just guess I have to go into debt to be able to go to school and finish the semester. And in reality, like, if I had known, I could have done a lot of things to like get ahead instead of taking that $8,000 out. I could have had a side job. I could have looked at different colleges I could have went to that were cheaper. I could have saved up when I was in high school. Many things that I could have done, but I just thought, well, this is the only way I'm going to be able to do it, so let me take out this loan. So another type of debt that we had was lots of credit card debt, and that came from really lots of furniture stores. We just wanted to buy furniture, new furniture we didn't need, furniture we didn't use all the time, and the way I looked at it was, shoot, we got great credit, so why the heck would we not? I remember specifically the first time I thought, wow, like our credit scores are really powerful. Walk into a furniture store, we were buying, I don't even know what, chairs to fill up a room that we didn't even like use really.
Yeah, or it was that mattress. I think it was Mattress Firm.
Possibly. I really don't remember. But I just remember getting the credit report back, and the guy was like, yeah, you've got $8,000 to use for whatever you want in here. $8,000? I mean, what? Because I got good credit? Bet. Let's put everything on credit. And it really didn't matter what it was. I was like, we've got great credit, so why not put it on a credit card?
Yeah, and I think I was kind of like similar mindset, and then mine was like, well, if we don't pay interest, then that makes it good debt. It's not bad debt if I'm not paying it any more than I would normally pay for the item. But the reality is, even if you get a year-long 0% interest rate or 2 years or whatever they're offering, you're still buying things that you really don't need just because you have the money, the credit available. And so I think that's kind of where I went wrong, where I would think 0% interest, not a big deal, we can rack it up. And then when we were all said and done with it, we had like almost a $3,000 bedroom set, $1,300 couch, $1,100 something dining room set. Like all of this was all on payments. Yep. And it made no sense. And we're like, well, we're gonna buy quality furniture so that it lasts for a really long time and blah, blah, blah. And all these like justifications and rationalizations in our mind to try to make it make sense. And it really didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Part of that is what made going tiny so easy. A lot of people would be like, well, how do you guys like live with so little? Well, when we started getting serious about getting out of debt, we thought, okay, why are we in debt? And then we started evaluating. We're like, oh, because we have all this stuff. Well, why do we have all this stuff? Well, this space is really big and it's empty looking if we don't have all this stuff to fill it up. And it was like, well, why do we need all this space? And so then it was just like all of these things we were thinking about. And we're like, we really don't need all this space. So it didn't seem crazy to go tiny because we were already kind of having an aha moment around how much we had that we didn't really need, didn't really use, and would really just fill up space to impress people for the 1 or 2 times that we would have people over per year.
Right.
A nice place with nice decor and a good vibe. Like it really made no sense. All right, so transitioning over to cars, because this was another area where we had a lot of debt. So my car was $20,000, bought it brand new. Her car was $18,000, bought it brand new. And we both had toxic mindsets around this as well, although they were a little bit different. But mine was similar to like the furniture and the rationalization, this idea of like, I deserve this. So like I graduated from college and I felt like, oh man, I'm graduated from school. I started out of school with a job making almost $50,000 at 22. And so my other rationalization was, oh, well, this is only half of my annual salary, so I can pay this off in 2 years. And I just said it. We had no plan. We had no budget. There was nothing going actually towards paying it off in 2 years. It was just something that I said. And just because actually a lot of people have asked questions about my job in loss prevention recently, I'll share this example, right? Part of my job sometimes involves interviewing associates that are stealing from the company. So I know on TV, they always drum it up and they have this little single light bulb above the person's head, and the guy comes in and he like slams his hands on the table and it's like, what'd you do with the money? Where's the money? But in reality, that's not how real interviews work. You actually build rapport with the subject to get them calm, relaxed, help them to talk to you confidently. And what you do is you offer them rationalizations, right? You offer them little things that they can point to as to reasons why it was okay or reasons why it made sense. Because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter if they rationalize the behavior. The key is getting them to talk and open up to you and allow them to rationalize and push the blame to something else. We all do that in every area of life. Sometimes they make sense and sometimes they're really good, but the key is recognizing and actually taking action to fight against it if it's not something that truly makes sense.
And I also wanted to add, like, that was a valid thing that he said. Like, we absolutely could have paid it off in the 2 years because of the setup that we had. We had this perfect setup where I was living on the college campus. That was my first job, and we basically had everything for free, including food, rent, everything except for our cars and phone bill. And so that was a real thing, but we didn't do that, and we just kept racking up that debt. But for me and my car, when I remember I was driving a 2004 Hyundai,
Elantra?
No. Hey, what? Oh, Accent. I'm like, I used to love that little car. 2004 Hyundai Accent. I was driving that from my senior year of college until 2 years into our marriage. And I remember thinking, well, shoot, if he got a new car, why can't I get a new car?
And I remember thinking, what kind of man am I if I'm out here driving a brand new car and I got my wife in something that's old, you know? So I felt like, well, I got this. So, I mean, I got to get her something too. And it's a dangerous domino effect.
It was a silly mindset to have because it's just like, first of all, when you get a brand new car, this is my belief now, when you get a brand new car, like you have to deal with all of the recalls and all the things that they haven't even figured out that has gone wrong with the car. Don't nobody got time for that. Yeah. Give me a 2-year-old car, a 3-year-old car, and we'll call it a day. Like,
now we do still have the cars.
Yes, we do.
We didn't get rid of them, and the reason why, even though we were working the plan and getting out of debt, is because we had already lost the money. So it really didn't at that. Which this probably sounds like a rationalization in and of itself, but it literally didn't make sense to us. Okay, we already lost the money on it. Okay, I can go sell this for $12,000. You know, go pick up something else for $6,000, and then I got $6,000 profit in my pocket in theory. But in reality, you know, with the maintenance that you're probably gonna have to, and the money you're gonna probably have to put into that used car, you're gonna end up, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like going forward, we wouldn't do it again. Right. But by this point, it was already kind of too late. The money was already lost in the depreciation. Yeah, so we just bit the bullet, paid them off. And then the last thing that we purchased, our last big debt item, was our tiny house, and that was probably scratch that. That was the first thing that we went into debt with a mindset of, okay, how are we going to pay this off? By what time are we going to pay this off? What this interest rate looks like all that. We're actually like very specific in the reason why we went tiny. It was the first time we had really thought about the ROI, you know, and asking the right questions going in. You know, college, you say, yeah, I'm going to, you know, it's a investment towards my future, which I do believe that, but I'm talking about like real numbers and real questions. You know, how much money is this going to cost us? What's the break even on this? You know, before, you know, how long do we have to live in this house before it's a break even on the cost of it? How does that cost pair up with the cost that we would spend otherwise renting? What can we realistically expect to earn off of it when we rent it out in the future? What kind of job opportunities will this allow us the flexibility to take advantage of in lieu of being in a place where we're kind of hunkered down and settled already? All of those types of things were the kind of questions we were asking when we stepped into this that in the past we had never really thought about. But we are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed now, so no worries, we will not be doing those mistakes again. But and again, we just share this information not to judge anybody or say we're better than anybody, but I mean, money is such a taboo subject to talk about, and we really don't understand why. Right? People suffer in silence because everybody's so afraid to talk about the things that they think they're the only ones struggling with. In reality, everybody else is struggling with the same thing, but that fear of embarrassment stops people from talking about it. So we just try to be transparent and put out as much information as we can to help others, and maybe it relates to somebody out there and kind of helps them maybe change directions or think about something from a different perspective for decisions within their life. So, well, thank y'all so much for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to like it for the algorithm. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Let us know some of the toxic mindsets that you've had. Anything you'd like to know, really, you know, we're responding to comments. And be sure to share this with someone if you have people that you think would benefit from this content. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell button so you know exactly when we upload. We love y'all so much. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.